signs for Bitcoin's boom. Now, there are some market signals telling us Bitcoin is about to take off, and I'm excited that all of you are here now because this is where the wealth creation happens and buying when it is boring. Now, is the market about to finally take off again? There is some good evidence that it looks like it's preparing to, and I want to share that with you. I also want to share with you a gem of an altcoin I am waiting to buy back in, and I'm patiently waiting. It is getting savaged by the vesting schedule. The news and outlook for this one are amazing in my personal opinion, but the token vesting and the slow market are bringing its prices back towards that ICO price, and it is worth keeping an eye on as it gets cheaper and cheaper. Hopefully it keeps getting cheaper some more. It is one of my top picks for the next 10 years, so stick around for that. And then we will get into some signs that Bitcoin is bullish and crypto is looking positive again. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain. Now, if you like money and you like crypto and you're looking for a real investor take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family. You can do that simply as liking this video and subscribing with the all notifications bell enabled. I'm not a financial advisor. I am a crypto investor myself, sharing with you how I think about the crypto market and specific cryptos that I like. Note, I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about on this channel because I don't talk about crypto projects that I don't believe in as an investor. We want to thank our Patreon members. We do have a private Discord that our Patreon members get access to on Fridays. We do a pre-live stream where you can tune in through Discord on a video call with all of our Patreon members. Now, there is a link below to our Patreon if that's of interest to you. It is a closed group, and I'm even able to discuss even more there that I can't in other settings. Now, it often says at the beginning that there's a sponsor disclaimer, and that's because of our strategic relationship with WanChain, who has been good to us, and they give us 500 Wan every month to give away to the audience, and sometimes as we pick up other strategic relationships, we have additional giveaways for you. Make it rain on that like button and strap in for the show. Let's welcome our producer, D-Money.
What is up, Jay? How's it going today?
Fan-freaking-tastic.
I agree. You were late, man. What the what? I'm like, let's start it.
I don't know about anybody else in the audience, right? But like, so we were talking. I was like, oh, I need to check out the Deadpool one on my phone, right? And so I was actually picking up some of these Deadpool. This is Deadpool #1 on Veve. In fact, I'm going to see if I can buy one more. I was picking up some. They're trading for just over $7, which is pretty close to the mint price. And so, yeah, just got another one.
Yeah, we were both in there. I was looking edition low to high. I'm like, ooh, I saw a couple like they were like sub 2,000 for like $15 or $20. I almost pulled the trigger, but I got a couple off, $7. Like the VV market is down right now. Like that, I don't know. I mean, this was the first drop in a while as far as a comic goes that I feel like hasn't just immediately like kind of 2x. It feels like usually right.
And what's crazy is this is Deadpool #1, right? So I feel like there's long-term value, especially because the movie franchise has been so successful, and like the movies are amazing and fun.
Yeah, so fun. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds is like, he can carry any movie by himself. He's so funny. And like, but what surprised me though is that like the New Mutants, the first appearance of Deadpool in the comics, that one hasn't done as well as I thought it might.
Rare.
Yeah, I'm a little bit I don't know. I picked up a couple because I'm like $7 comic.
Yeah, wait till more regular people come around. I remember when Marvel #1 was like this, right? So for those in the audience that followed the Veve ecosystem, and basically they have the license, they're rolling out these digital Marvel comic books. And when this first came out like months ago, Marvel #1 came out, and so you were able to buy, actually you had time to buy a couple of them, and you might have gotten a common, an uncommon, a rare, or an ultra rare, or even a secret rare. And the commons were being dumped for about $4. And I was like, oh, and I bought about 30 of them, and I would have bought more of them, but I forgot to come back and buy more, right? I bought all the medium, like low mint editions, and I was coming back every little once in a while to buy some more, and I just forgot to keep coming back and buy some more. Well, those things pumped to like $600 a piece.
Yeah, they've retraced a little bit. I think they're at like 300 right now, but it's still a great call. Okay, all right, help me out, Doc. Like, I'm talking about the New Mutants comic that hasn't done particularly well. I know that this Deadpool is not it's not the first appearance of Deadpool, and maybe I'm wrong, because they've got the collectible as well. And are they considering that to be the first appearance? I'm talking about the New Mutants, where that was the first appearance. That's where Deadpool was introduced in the comic books.
Yeah, but it's
that's what I was talking about. We know that this
Yeah.
Deadpool issue #1 is not the first appearance of Deadpool. We understand that. But thank you. Chris and John are over here like it's not the first appearance. We know it's not the first appearance of Deadpool.
Yeah, either way, it's still comic issue #1, and I think because of that, it'll do well. Especially as more comic book collectors get into the Veve comics, right? A lot of them haven't come over yet. And we see kind of waves of adoption, and then things pump. Yeah, but let's jump on over.
Hold on just a second, because we haven't even started the party. But no, I'm curious real quick. So Doc, you said New Mutants is the first appearance of Deadpool in the comics. Just making sure. Is it is there a differentiation between the collectible? Is that the first edition or the first appearance? I always get so confused. Throw that in the comments because I'm curious about it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and cue off the music.
Yeah, here we go.
Join me, Rainmakers. Okay, so I know most of you who clicked on the thumbnail that aren't longtime subscribers of the channel. You are here to talk about why Bitcoin is bullish and why I think it's bullish. And we did want to spend some time. One of my theses is I buy when it's boring, when things are down, and the Veve app and some of these collectibles are down. Just like I was completely right on the Marvel #1 trading at $4, and that was vastly underpriced. It pumped all the way to 600 and then retraced to 300, but still, even at 300, that's like a 80x, right? And it is only a really good return if you buy a bunch of them. And so what we really think about on this channel is buying low and selling high. So the question on everyone's mind is the market undervalued right now? Is Bitcoin low and about to go high? Because we like to buy when it's boring and sell when everybody's talking about. And is the market boring right now? You tell me. By boring, it means prices are low. I do know that our portfolios are down, right? And sentiment is down. And it seems like things will never flip around. But let's take a look at the Wall Street cheat sheet for psychology of a market cycle. Let me share my screen with you. Yeah, thanks, Hardcore. Everyone smash that like button. Now, if you're watching this on your phone, you have to close the chat part, hit the like, and then reopen the chat. I know it's a pain. Let's take a look at the Wall Street cheat sheet and the psychology of market cycles. And where would you say in this psychology you are feeling we are right now? Well, we're definitely not at euphoria, wouldn't you say? Let me add to this. Is it fair to say that instead of one big cycle that we've had smaller cycles? We had one last spring where we went through this, March, April, a little bit into May, right? Didn't we go through exactly this? And this is exactly what July looked like right here. And then what happened in October? Well, Facebook came out and said, oh, yeah, we're changing our name to Meta, and there's this Metaverse thing, and it's going to be so huge, and we're investing like $30 billion into it. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, the metaverse, and everything related to the crypto metaverse part of the crypto sphere went crazy, right? And then where is it now? Well, fair to say, it's looking like it's around here. So after that pump, I would say we're past the anger part of this and in the depression and a little bit in this disbelief part of the stage, right? Now, why do I think this? Well, many of you weren't around in 2017 to have those years to compare to. All right, we had John McAfee as the major, yes, that John McAfee, like McAfee antivirus. He was like the major crypto spokesperson. And when he said something would pump, like that specific project would pump tremendously, kind of like the power you saw last March that Elon Musk has. But can we all agree that John McAfee, if he said something, it wasn't near as listened to as when Elon Musk says something, and that Elon Musk is much, much bigger in credibility than John McAfee was. We even have some smaller countries even adopting Bitcoin, like El Salvador, possibly Tonga, and even possibly Mexico. We have countries such as Portugal pushing major crypto-friendly regulation and taxation to attract crypto businesses and those who are crypto rich to come over to their country. And there are even US senators and US congressmen and women who are on the Bitcoin bandwagon. Now, there have been a number for a while, but look at this about US Senator Cory Booker. Let me pull it up. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Cory Booker one of the most powerful Democrat Party senators? U.S. Senator Booker says cryptocurrency can bring growth to American economy if properly regulated. Well, that's a bullish statement. U.S. Senator Cory Booker sees cryptocurrency as an exciting innovation with the potential to bring growth to the American economy if properly nurtured and regulated. The senator from New Jersey is encouraged by President Biden's executive order on crypto regulation. Now, we covered this executive order in depth the other day, and if you read the first two paragraphs, they're pretty bullish on cryptocurrency. Now, the following stuff, not as bullish, but the first two, very bullish, talking about how its total market cap has surpassed $3 trillion, as well as the rise in digital assets creates an opportunity to reinforce American leadership in the global financial system and at the technological frontier, but also has substantial implications for consumer protection, financial stability, national security, and climate risk. So generally bullish statement, at least a lot more bullish than we thought. And well, what else is bullish? Now, as the EU has been trying to debate crypto regulations, there were some bureaucrats pushing for a proof of work ban, which would ban Bitcoin. They changed the wording to be about banning consensus mechanisms that didn't at least have a certain minimum standard of being carbon friendly, which is just different wording of targeting Bitcoin. And that legislation just failed earlier today. This is pretty good thing overall when you kind of take it all in comparison. Now, we'll get into some more evidence. But what this tells me is that politicians are waking up to the fact, or have woken up to the fact, that there are huge benefits of cryptocurrencies, and that politicians are no longer fighting, at least some, are no longer fighting their own constituents to the level they were 4 years ago, back when John McAfee was the major spokesperson for cryptocurrency. With some of these politicians even turning to champions of this innovation. Now, this isn't all of the politicians, not yet. But remember that old saying, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. 8 years ago, they ignored crypto. 4 years ago, they laughed at it. Now, some are fighting it. But we're on that leg of crypto that is winning in many places around the world. And that puts pressure on those that are continuing to fight Bitcoin and crypto. Puts pressure on them as it puts those countries at huge strategic disadvantages. We covered last week the brain drain that is happening from India because their very harsh positions against crypto the past 3 years. They're losing a lot of their top minds, moving to other countries to work for crypto projects in those other countries that wouldn't dare locate themselves in India because they're worried about the anti-crypto regulatory environment that India has been having. So in essence, what's happening? Some of their brightest minds and some of their money is moving to other countries that are more crypto friendly. Now, for even better evidence that we're at lows, which is usually followed by highs, let's take a look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index and what that can tell us about if there are reasons to be bullish and not bearish. So here we have the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. So I went to max on this, and this is at alternative.me and their Crypto Fear and Greed Index. So what I want to look at is how it's been lately. And it's fair to say it pumped up a couple of times to 50%, like right in between fear and greed index. But we're right back down in the fear area and at pretty big lows. And we really have been since all the way back in November when things started to correct after the metaverse pump from Facebook. And so we've been pretty low, coming up to medium and then coming right back into the fear zone. So let's look at some dates on this compared to Bitcoin and where we're at. So let's look back at July 2021. That was right before a massive run up. So we've been at lows. Let's look at how things were in July 2021. So here we go. June and July 2021. Well, we were also in this massive fear section. What followed this massive fear section? Massive greed, which was brought about by this massive run here, where we went from Bitcoin from 30,000 all the way up to Bitcoin hitting 70,000. So again, we're down at these fear and greed index lows on fear. Now let's look prior and let's look at some other dates. Why don't we look and find out what it looked like on March and April of 2020 when Bitcoin hit these previous lows? Oh, March and April 2020. Guess what? The fear was really, really high. They were all the way down at a 10. Now we've been sitting at 20 a lot here. So we're not quite at 10. But what happened here? Well, that was followed by this massive run here. Now, if you go back in time and buy when fear was just as low or even lower, or the index was just as low or lower, would you go back to, say, March and April 2020 and be able to buy here at, say, I don't know, say you missed the bottom, but you could buy at 7,000 when Bitcoin was at 7,000? Yeah, because then you can see that you would have taken this massive run up here, right? So then when the fear and greed index came down to a really low number again, was right around here. Was that a good time to buy or a good time to sell? Well, that was an incredible time to buy, especially knowing what you know now, that you could have then taken that ride up as Bitcoin price doubled. And then, of course, if you had that magic crystal ball, you would have sold the top, set all that money aside to be able to buy when the fear and greed index got down to 20 again. Do you see why I'm so bullish on the next number of months being amazing? And I still think it's going to play out. And this is one more confirmation that we're at attractive buy areas. Now, generally, I created the saying, buy when it's boring. It's fair to say, generally, the crypto market right now is very boring. So watch with me over the coming months how this plays out. And if that doesn't ring true, buy when it's boring. And then when all the crypto channels, if you listen to the rap that we play at the beginning and at the end of our videos, it talks about selling when all the crypto channels are pumping something, right? It's a good time to sell and a good exit signal. So watch over the coming months with me. If we are not at amazing prices to buy, then we have a massive run up, which is then a good time to sell when people are saying it's going up so much and it's just going to continue for forever. Well, that's when I like to, I don't know about you, take profits and sell, because nothing goes up forever. All right, let me check out what's going on in the chat. What is up, guys? I see so many wonderful, familiar faces. I love you guys. Thank you, Hardcore, for saying smash that like button. Chris Ashby, absolutely love your positivity. Chris is frequently in our Telegram channel, which you can join below, and he's also in our private Discord channel that only our Patreon members get access to. Mespo, what's going on, guys? Stardust Runner, yeah, absolutely phenomenal member of the community. Okay, Elbow Cough, got this good vibes from
our buddy Meowdy Pie is here. It's been a while since I've seen Meowdy Pie in the chat, so good to see you, bro.
Yeah, love you guys. So, do you think now is a good time to be buying or selling? I'd love to hear your opinions. Generally, that statement, buy when it's boring. I've only been in crypto for 4 years, though, and it's panned out really, really well so far. But love to hear your thoughts on it. That's why we do these live streams, so I get a chance to interact with you. It's raining wisdom. Thank you. I appreciate it. Right. Bitcoin is going on 25,000. Do not make people fool. Most of the influencers are paid and work for whales and exchanges. So be very careful and invest wisely. Wow. Man, work for whales and exchanges. D, are we missing out on massive money?
I was going to say, if we were working for whales, I know I'd be making a lot more money than I am.
I know, right?
We do not work for whales or exchanges.
Most Bitcoin influencers do not work for whales and exchanges.
But you know what? Ali's right, though. Like, because I mean, well, okay. So I want to say he's right about like, be very careful, invest wisely, because the truth is that we don't know, like, Bitcoin's going to 25K, like it could, right? We don't know.
Even if it does, like if you're using good principles, right? So here's the principles of making a lot of money in crypto over time. Number one, never borrow in order to buy, because it takes away your ability to be patient. Because you're not wrong on your thesis. Crypto is going to do amazing. Some better than others. Some will go to zero, especially the riskier the altcoins that you're in. They'll go to zero. But if you're diversifying and you're buying without using like borrowing the money, you're in a good position that you can be patient. Another principle I like is buy at lows, right? And you don't ever know where the bottom is. So even if you're buying at lows, that doesn't mean buy the bottom, because if I could tell you to buy the bottom and you always knew where the bottom was, because I don't always know where the bottom is, then of course you would make crazy amounts of money. But since we don't know where the bottom is, my general statement is buy when it's boring, because that's generally close to the bottom, when it just seems like it'll never happen, but the company seems so fundamentally strong. That's when I like to buy. And that's worked out really, really well for me over time. Not always perfectly, because it's kind of like your early stage company investing, especially when you're buying like altcoins. Early stage, some of these companies fail, but some make it huge. And so if you're buying them when they're low, and at lows, generally your risk to reward ratio is in an area that I like. And that's what I talk about frequently on this channel, is which projects do I like? Okay, they're at lows, and here's why I like them fundamentally, and here's why I invested in them. I think they'll do well. That's what I talk a lot about. Now, what project am I massively bullish on the coming 10 years I want to talk about today? Immutable X. Now, Immutable X seems like it is well positioned and it's well backed to be much higher than it is. However, we've all seen that vesting schedules combined with massive pullback in the general market can devastate these prices. And these prices often do get devastated in the short term, setting up things for a massive run later. Now, because I had some Gods Unchained Genesis cards, I was airdropped some IMX tokens that I received for being a holder of those Gods Unchained Genesis cards. And I sold those tokens about $3, even though I'm so bullish on this in the future, because I just was seeing that the vesting schedule was savaging the token price. Let's take a look at IMX and what I'm bullish on for Immutable X. Now, the first thing I want to share with you is I found on ICO Drops their ICO information. So they raised $13 million through a token sale. I have no idea. I know some influencers were able to participate in this. I was not. I would have loved to, because even though their prices come down a lot, it's still 10x from its ICO price, which was, where'd it go? I know it's here. 15 cents, if I'm remembering right. Okay, 15 cents. So their fundraising goal was this amount of money, total tokens. They had that all worked out. So what I want to focus on is this price, 15 cents. I also wanted to share with you, so 15 cents, and it's currently 10x. So it's just above $1.50 right now. And this chart continues to head this way. A little bit better chart is Coin Market Cap, and it shows when it came out, it went quickly to $5, retraced a little bit, went all the way to $9. And look at this, you're seeing this general decline, but at a certain point, you're going to see the bottom start rounding. Now, in the last few days, it's had a lot of pumping. That is mostly because of not that article. Where did the article go? I have it here somewhere. There we go. Immutable raises 200 million in, I don't know how to say that, Temasek-led Series C NFT startup, now valued at 2.5 billion. Wow. So essentially they raised 200 million in additional funds through an equity raise, leading to them to a $2.5 billion company valuation. So what that says is the general investor market is very, very bullish on them. So let's look back at their token for a little bit. And let's see. Their max supply is 2 billion tokens. Their current circulating supply, it looks like just about maybe 11.5% of their tokens are in circulation, or it's rounded up to 12% of their tokens are in circulation. And I found something that's very, very helpful. And this is their token supply schedule. So they did their raise back here in September, but I think in November is probably when they consider their token generation event, because that's when this date starts, is early November. So we'll call that month 1, early November. And let's go back to this. So do notice a month 12, so November of this year, there's going to be a lot of additional tokens dropped on the market. But even still, you're seeing some additional tokens come on and come on, come on, come on. This puts downward price pressure on the token. So even though I'm very bullish on this over the coming 10 years, I haven't bought back in yet. Why? Well, I think Bitcoin will turn around in the coming 2 months and it will take off, but not yet the altcoins. So I'm trying to figure out the perfect time to rebuy in, because even though there's this additional token supply coming into the market every month, that just puts a little bit of downward pressure on the price. And if there's no upward pressure at all, guess what? That price keeps getting more attractive and more attractive and more attractive. We see that in the charts right here. See how it keeps getting more attractive, more attractive. See it went all the way to $1.18. This good news came out, pump the token price, but guess what's going to happen if there's not continuous buy pressure? The ongoing sell pressure is going to continue to push it down, and at some point I'm going to start buying in. And it might be under $1. I start buying back in. And then if it drops to 50 cents, I buy back some more and buy back some more. Why am I so bullish on this? Now, if you follow the channel, you know I'm a big fan of Veve and Veve collectibles, and Veve is bringing over everything to Immutable X, and has actually brought over their chain that was on Go Chain. So their NFTs were on the Go Chain network, and they brought them over to Immutable X. A lot of other projects are locating right on Immutable X as well. So very low gas fees, low transaction fees, relatively fast speeds for exchanging things. I think Immutable X is going to be one of the go-to chains in the future for NFTs and even crypto gaming. And they're setting up the right things. That's going to be huge. So sleep on this, but don't continue sleeping on this. This is one to watch. And then when you feel like the price is attractive enough, maybe you make some decisions on this. Now, of course, do your own research and get your own feeling, because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an investor myself. I know that I'm going to be looking at this and buying back in. And I only sold because I could see that the pressure was, and it was painful to sell, but the downward price pressure was pretty obvious. And so I was just like, well, I hate being out of this one, but I'm definitely going to look to rebuy into this one, because I think it'll be huge in the future. I felt the same things about Matic back when Matic was much, much cheaper.
Hey, Jay, I'm curious so I saw that the market cap's like 375 million on Immutable X, but we have that article that's, they're valued at $2.5 billion. Obviously not all the tokens are in supply, but like, do those two numbers, like, does that mean anything? They bear no relation
to each other, because one is the value of the company itself. The other one is the value of the token on the blockchain. There's no correlation.
Yeah, but I guess in your mind, is that worth like thinking about? Like, all right, if this company is valued so high and yet the market cap is low, like, am I onto anything, or is that just kind of like you said, they have
kind of? But let me share with you another number. Right, look at what the fully diluted So let me share my screen.
Right,
The
fully
diluted valuation is actually right close to that number.
Yeah.
So even though the market cap's here, I keep an eye on this because more of these tokens are going to continue to come into supply every month. And so you see their circulating supply is right now. So this isn't too far from their valuation as a company. So a lot of it has to do with what does the token really mean? What do you really need the token for? And to some extent, a lot of investors don't think about that. Now, in a bear market, a lot of people think about it, but in a bull market, when generally things are bullish, they don't think about it. So if a company's getting lots of traction, people buy into that token kind of as a way to be part of something they feel is going to grow tremendously. So I do like, speaking of like function, project that I talk about frequently is a Comey and their OMI token. So holding the OMI token has relevance, or it's about to have some real significant relevance as their master collectors program rolls out. And then you get bonus points for holding a bunch of their tokens, which gives a special use case, right? So as more people come into their environment, decide they want to have more master collector points, they then have to stake the token, which gives the token additional relevance. So not only will it pump as the ecosystem gets more adoption, the OMI token specifically, they're giving it some specific relevance. Now, what relevance does the IMX token have outside of what it's a way that people can participate in an ecosystem that we feel is going to grow tremendously? I'm not aware of one. Yeah, it'll probably be used as gas or for other things. You can purchase NFTs with the IMX token. We've already seen that. But is it really necessary to hold it? I don't know to what extent it will be, but that doesn't often matter, or it matters less than you would think it would.
Michael F. just said what I've been thinking. The moving cam is making me seasick, no likey. And that's something that we can't figure that out. It, like the camera, it switches.
So
it's like
when I turn it off with this camera, when I turn off the autofocus, so that kind of comes with the autofocus.
Right.
When I turn off the autofocus, then if I change any depth, then it comes through terribly.
Yeah.
So we've left the autofocus on is like, yeah, maybe I can move. I have a Sony cam. We've been using the home office a lot more rather than the studio. And I have a nice Sony there that I could maybe go get that probably won't have the same problems.
Yeah, we're aware of it, Michael.
Yeah.
So hold still, Rain.
And
Come
sometimes it does it like I'm trying to make it move. Whenever I try to make it move, I can't hardly make it move.
Yeah,
when I'm not trying to make it move, it makes it move. Uncle Mike's Cryptonomics says, Jay, what about selling on OMI on Gate.io? My understanding is right now, like maybe they're updating their blockchain or something, so they're not allowing you to. Which Gate.io just made a big announcement the other day, which stupid. So they're blocking, within the next month, anybody from Canada, the US, a whole list of countries will no longer be allowed on their platform. So, yeah, essentially, if you're in Uzbekistan, you'll be able to trade, or, just some. Yeah, it was amazing how comprehensive that list of countries no longer allowed on their platform was. I don't know why that came about. Seems like it's going to make them, they were actually growing to become really relevant. Okay, so they just shot themselves in the chest. I don't know if they're going to continue growing because that's going to hurt them a ton. So in the next month, you have to pull off your stuff. So my guess is, Comey, you can't withdraw yet, but probably they'll get it to where you can prior to that. The other option is you could always sell it to USDT, move your USDT to another exchange that has it, like Bit4X or something, and buy it there. Now, hopefully, once it's fully on IMX and everything, it's then listed on like Coinbase, Binance, and a lot of exchanges. So I am bullish on Immutable X and where they're going.
Jay, before you move on, I mean, this will kind of play into, I think, what we're going to talk about next. But Hardcore, he asks, any thought on ADAX? We haven't talked about ADAX in a while. Really cheap right now. It has that ERC20 converter.
Yeah, I'm not certain on ADAX's future. It is way down. there's a lot that are competing for the space of the DEXs on Cardano. So we have, who is it? A Sunday Swap that came out with a DEX on Cardano that does work. I have used it. It takes like hours for my transaction to complete, but it is completable, right? So you can buy some MELD. You can go from ADA to MELD and MELD to ADA and some other tokens. So we finally do have a DEX on Cardano. There will be coming other DEXs, but there are some bigger players that have gotten involved in the marketplace too. And one of them is Occam Finance. And I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with a pretty stellar DEX. They have a very sharp team. I've talked with them a little bit over the months, and really, really smart people. I wouldn't be surprised if their product is really, really good. ADAX, we did even try to have them on the show, and then it got postponed, and then they were hard to reach, and I stopped trying because I'm not going to chase people down to come on this show. So, and it's not like they're like Cardano. If it was Charles Hoskinson, would I like follow up with Charles to get him on the show a bunch? I would, but fair to say, ADAX is not Charles Hoskinson. And so, though I want them to do well, I don't know. I took a bet on them when they first were doing their pre-sale on, I forget what exchange it was, and it was like 10 to 30 cents, and then it did go crazy. And I sell when things are up. So I did sell completely out of my ADAX position when things were up. I didn't know it would end up coming all the way down to like 20 cents, which is where it's been at. So will it probably go up from here? Probably, even if they don't end up being like the number one DEX. Everything on the ADA platform is down and will probably be up in the future. So definitely bullish on Immutable X. ADAX probably will do well from here, though I don't know. I don't believe in enough that I bought more as it's come down, because I just hard getting updates from them, so I don't have a good sense of where the team is at, and that's something I'd like to have good sense for. Y'all probably saw that OneChain jumped up in the last day 20%, which is awesome. OneChain's been a fantastic strategic partner and gives us OneChain to give away every week here, which we really enjoy. I'm also massively bullish on some very oversold projects. Spores, Formation Finance is at really, really, I think, close to their IDO or even pre-sale prices. Split, EOS unfortunately isn't quite at its ICO price or IDO price. Wish it would come down to that, and I would buy even more, even though I picked up a huge bag while they've been down. We talked about Ecomi's OMI token. Now, OMI, maybe it gets savaged some more when the master collector thing comes out, and a bunch of, my guess is a whole bunch of collectibles get sold off, and, you know, people exit some of their liquidity, and then that event is done. And my guess is it's got a very, very bullish future.
You mean the MTL, right?
Yeah.
When the MTL, I think you said the master collector program.
Yeah. You're exactly right. The money transmitter license.
Yeah.
Which a bunch of people are waiting for, and it's been delayed and then be delayed again. Then you get the people that just quit out of the space. And I've seen so many like quitting messages in the 4 years I've been in crypto, right? Oh my gosh, Bitcoin's down to $3,000. This is so ridiculous. It's on its way to zero. And I just tired of being patient and I'm out, you know, and we'll see that from some Veve collectible holders and other things, especially as the money transmitter license comes out and they can cash their gems back to actual money and withdraw it. You'll see a bunch of people leave the space, probably right freaking at the bottom, which always happens, right? And yeah, what's funny is even though fundamentally we know to buy low and sell high, it's crazy that 95% of people do the exact opposite of that. So that's why when I see things at really good prices, like we talked about at the beginning, it was like Deadpool #1. Now it's possible when the MTL comes out, it goes down even cheaper and stuff, right? But it's still the Deadpool comic #1, not the first appearance of Deadpool. He was in other comics before this, just the first edition of the Deadpool comic book, or the first, you know, actual issue #1 of Deadpool's own comic in the 1990s. I don't remember the exact date. And I think that will have value, especially with the franchise being so popular. All right, so we have a little bit of news. Let me check on time. Love to get to more of your thoughts. Yeah, I don't know. This is from my camera side that does this. This is my Canon M50, and I put a nice lens on it. The lens cost as much as the camera did, just so it has good clarity. But like, yeah, I don't know if you guys know a lot about cameras, and there's a way to turn off the tracking, but still have the autofocus that tracks me, because the focus figures out where your eyes are and then keeps focus there. There's a way to make it so it doesn't move with me and create the seasickness for you guys without losing focus all the time. Yeah, and change it. I don't think my Sony does that. So if I change my Sony, it would eliminate that problem. All right. Thoughts on EFI Engines blockchain for NFTs? 1.6 Polkadot parachain right now, down 89% from all-time highs. Let's take a look. That is definitely worth a good look. So let's see. EFI. Is that Affinity
token? Yeah.
All right. So we don't know market cap, at least not here. Total supply up to 2 billion. It's on crypto.com, gate.io, MEXC Global, Sushi Swap. Interesting, they're on Sushi Swap, but not necessarily on Uniswap. Huh. Bitforex, okay, nice. CoinList as well. Let's take a look at this price. So it went absolutely crazy in November, up to 228, down at 34 cents. And I don't think we've hit the bottom yet, but we're probably close. So I wish we could get more feel on coin market cap. I'd like a little bit better of a feel on it. Okay, their market cap's at 58 million. Their fully diluted market cap is at 690 million. So it's getting pretty cheap. My guess is it's going to get even cheaper, and then all of a sudden it won't. See how it usually makes these nice rounded bottoms? Maybe this was as cheap as it's going to go, but it might hit numbers below 29 cents. So you look at how before it did this nice rounded bottom. So it pumped up here. And then notice this is October. This is right after Mark Zuckerberg made his announcement, somewhere around like the 24th. Then it went absolutely crazy. Then went even higher. And about a month later, hit its peak. And then it's in a big retracement. Probably, I have no idea. Let's see. EFI ICO price. Let's see what we get here. ICO drops. Okay, so its ICO price was 20 cents. So it's come down a lot towards its ICO price. See if it gives us, yeah, this is what we want, the Affinity release schedule. So it looks like a lot of this comes out in 2022 and 2023 and then tapers off in 2024. It's going to have a lot more of its tokens coming out. So it had about 500 million total out there. And then by the end of this year, it's going to have 100 million, or excuse me, yeah, a billion out there. So yeah, it's getting savaged by its vesting schedule. Now, what's interesting about these vesting schedules right now is that they just put some downward price pressure. Now, as a lot of people come into the market, so what generally happens is Bitcoin takes off. When Bitcoin crosses some numbers, all of a sudden people that have been sitting on the sidelines come out in, and it really causes Bitcoin to take off. And then people start looking for what altcoins to roll into. And as massive numbers of new people come into the market, these vesting schedules won't matter a bit, because the buy pressure will vastly exceed the sell pressure. A little bit of sell pressure these vesting schedules create. So there is such a thing as waiting too long, right? So that's why I don't know exactly where to buy in Immutable X. if I do start to see massive new numbers of people come into Bitcoin, like I think is going to happen, then I probably won't wait too long to pull the trigger on Immutable X and some other ones that I'm interested in, because when that buy pressure starts rolling over to some of these other altcoins, it'll be really easy for the buy pressure to vastly exceed the sell pressure, which can then take the price up by a lot. And it's no fun to buy an altcoin after it just 5x, right? It's a lot more fun to buy it before the 5x. WanChain's Web Zombie says WanChain's new website is coming out soon, and Zoo Racers Alpha probably next week or two. That'll be a lot of fun. I bought a ton of those Zoo Racers, and I'm looking forward to what they're doing there. And I really enjoy using WanChain's network because the transactions happen fast. They're extremely cheap, and I use it all the time. All right, so we're about 45 minutes into this. What else is on your mind in the audience? Okay, Whippets Run says, I'm so bullish on IMX and OMI. Fact that OMI and Veve are now separate entities is so hot. OMI will be used in many other platforms besides the greatest of all time, Veve. Let's go. I hadn't heard that. But Whippets Run's got the Bart Simpson golden moment, so definitely a collector. I hadn't heard that at all. That's really interesting news. If Doctor of Stuff is still in here, I'd love to hear Doctor of Stuff. Doctor of Stuff is like one of the best alpha, I guess, people in all of the Veve space. And he joins us on Wednesday night thing. And we created that because I feel like to talk at a deeper level about Veve and OMI, I don't get into the weekly research like he does. I watch the chart prices. I read some of the announcements. He reads like everything and then farther. And so he really makes that Wednesday night happen because I feel like the alpha is so strong. It justified us being able to do that Wednesday night Veve special, right? Because he's the person I ask first whenever I have a question about this stuff. All right. Alex says, hi, Jay, I know that your spectrum is leaning towards lower caps, but do you have any thoughts on EGLD tokens? I've held that in the past. I rolled that into some lower caps for now, but let's take a look at it since we've got the time today. It's trading at $140. I wish the history on this showed better because it used to be called Elrond's, I think ELRD or something. And they changed it to EGLD. And so it actually drops off. You can't see what it used to be because they did this conversion to EGLD. I'm liking this chart, right? So it's showing some resistance, some strong resistance that this is as low as it likely wants to go. Pretty good third generation blockchain. I think they've got a good future ahead of them. They made some really important partnerships. So its market cap is on the lower side for some of these bigger third generation chains, and I like where the price is at. Am I going to buy it? I'm not holding a lot of things with market caps over a couple billion right now. In fact, one of the few is OMI, and mostly I'm not. I do hold some Luna, and I was thinking maybe we'll do a video tomorrow on my thoughts on Luna. I know a lot of people are talking about it right now, right? And it's close to previous highs. And am I buying Luna right now? Hell no, I'm not. And do I have some? Yes, I already have some. I bought it when it was at $6 because I buy things that are low. I don't chase into these pumps. Could it break its previous highs and go higher? Well, that's what we want to talk about. Probably tomorrow we'll talk about that and share with you my thoughts, as well as what else is kind of following that pattern. What can we look at? Because yeah, it was $6 back in July, and then it went to 100, little over 100, and then it went down to like 50, and then it's back near 100. Is it a good time to buy? Yeah, it could bump up from here. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Only going down to 0.02 cents, Hippo says. It could. I hope so, right? Like, part of me doesn't want it to because I own millions and millions and millions of OMI token. But the investor part of me is like, sure, please do. And I'll just buy some more because I don't yet own like 30 billion or 30 million tokens. I wish I could say, I watched that one interview with this guy and he's like, some people's number of OMI tokens start with an M and some of us start with a different letter. That was freaking brilliant. I cracked up at that, right? Because he was probably buying it before the run a year ago and it was like dirt cheap and you could pick up 1 billion OMI tokens for like $5,000. And so, I don't own in the billions yet. And even if it dropped to 0.2 cents, I probably wouldn't invest enough to have 1 billion OMI tokens. But that would be fun to have 1 billion OMI tokens. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, for sure.
Because then when it goes to $1, you are freaking set.
Doctor Stuff did chime in. He says in several AMAs, the Veve team has talked about the fact that the OMI token will be used on more platforms than just Veve. We've seen it already on IMX, and my understanding is that on Immutable X's side, like there's an option to use OMI to purchase things. I don't know if you can already or anyway. Kurt Gerber asks price target for OMI.
Yeah, so I think OMI, if I'm right on this thesis, and I'm operating under this thesis, that we have another leg of the bull run to come, that what happened last March was not the big bull run from this cycle, that there's these elongating cycles that are happening. And I made the case a lot of different times. I won't go into it this time. But with these elongated cycles, the top should be way higher than what it hit last March or even what it hit in November. And the top for Bitcoin should be at least 150,000, if not 180,000 or higher, and then a big retracement. So if another leg of this bull run happens, which I'm pretty sure it will, my guess is Bitcoin goes to 30 cents. And, everyone asks, can it hit $1? It can. Is it likely to? Well, it really depends on, we saw in February, March, and April of last year that OMI took on some properties of meme coins, which is great because, like, by meme coins, like a lot of people that don't know anything about crypto were just buying it because their friends told them about it. And OMI has that kind of power. It can hit that. And if it hits kind of like meme coin trajectory again, then it possibly could go to $1. It probably shouldn't go to $1 yet, but that doesn't mean it won't. I mean, we saw Dogecoin go to 72 cents, which there's no fundamentally logical reason why Dogecoin should have went to 72 cents, and yet it did. And Dogecoin doesn't have fundamental value underlying it, and it doesn't have fundamentals behind it, not like OMI does, where not only is the OMI project, it's the token for their system, but also they're going to give it some value that you have to hold it to increase your points for the master collector status and other things that we talked about earlier. And so there's some real value to those that want to get in on special drops that other people get priority for if they have higher master collector points. So then you'll see a lot more staking of it and other things related to holding that OMI token, especially if their Veve verse comes together and is big. So there's a lot of potential value in this. If it also takes on those meme coin properties, it could go to like $1, which would be crazy, but less crazy than Dogecoin hitting 72 cents in my book.
Crypto right, Randy Savage says Doge has Musk pump value.
Yeah, no, it's crazy when you're like the number one billionaire in the world and you've taken Tesla to crazy numbers and a lot of people have become rich on it. When you tweet about a meme coin, that one of the things I hate about Dogecoin in particular is not only its lack of like continuing operating value, but the amount of new Dogecoin that is minted every 10 minutes is incredibly high, and it doesn't decrease over time like Bitcoin does. And so it's almost like has the properties of what we hate about fiat currency, right? This massive supply increase over time. Dogecoin has that massive supply increase. That's why I just find it hard to be a fan of Dogecoin personally. First of all, meme coins are kind of like playing the slot machine, and I never play the slot machine because your chances of losing are greater than your chance of winning. I like to take bets where my chance of winning, even if they're even with losing, if I win, my upside is so much bigger than if I lose. Those are type of bets that I like to take, and that's investing rather than gambling, right? So, all right, 30 cent OMI would be my life changer. Nick Scott, It's going to be a wild ride. I'm going to be taking profits before 30 cents in case it doesn't go all the way there, but that's my guess on where it is. And it's just a guess. My magic crystal ball I bought at Walmart isn't magic and it doesn't work. So like the rest of us, I just have to make my trajectory calculations and my guesses and then hedge my bets by selling some, which almost always turns out to be too early, and then selling some more and selling some more. It's just the gambles that we take. Like, for example, there's some big news about Bored Apes Yacht Club I want to share with you. They bought CryptoPunks and MeBits. Well, I had, and I've talked about it, I had 7 MeBits. I sold off 2, was able to recoup my entire investment amount. And then I still had 5. I sold 2 off to free up some cash for some NFL all-day stuff. And yeah, right after I sold them, they'd been trading about 3 ETH. This just came out. Bored Ape Yacht Club creator buys CryptoPunks and MeBits. As part of that, they got a bunch of CryptoPunks and MeBits. We don't know exactly what they paid for it, but I'm so happy because I still own 3 MeBits. Because Yuga Labs, the creator of Bored Ape Yacht Club, they do so much more for the continuing development of Bored Ape Yacht Club than what was happening with Larva Labs that owns CryptoPunks and MeBits. So funny how when you sell something, you know, sometimes you sell it and that pumps right after. It even happens to me. But that's part of taking profits. You take profits on the way up. You don't know where the top is going to be. So the same will happen with OMI tokens, right? Some of it I'll end up selling, won't even be near the top. Why? Because you know where the top is. So as it's heading towards 30 cents, I'm going to be taking profits, maybe starting at 6 to 10 cents and then going up, take some more and take some more and take some more. But even at 6 to 10 cents, I'll sell enough that I'll have all my initial capital back out. And so everything from there is a free ride. All right, we're short on time. Well, if you're ready to be a rainmaker and join the Navy SEALs of crypto and level up your crypto game, yeah, let's do it. You might say, this channel doesn't have 1 million subscribers yet, and that is true. We could have way more subscribers if we always talked about coins that were super hot and we're pumping, and it already pumped tremendously, but we consciously don't do that because we're investors first. We like to talk about things that we feel are undervalued and not overvalued. And often that isn't what people are searching for. And that is okay. There are endless channels to give those people looking for that their crypto content. If you're looking for something different, a contrarian approach, coupled with fundamental analysis, add in a lot of patience, well, that's what we do here. And it works very, very well over time. If you haven't already, consider hitting that all notifications bell and then just tune in when you see our videos pop up. We do this live stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And now also an additional Veve live stream on Wednesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. And then we have shorter videos throughout the week sometimes. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time. And remember, no rain, no gain.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, shit right before you could. Was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. Buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I'll always make the time in mind. I stick the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Why when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling a parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge the game show. Sticking out this wrong cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. Naysayers come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort, cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go of the hate, let the haters be cracking. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. This game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I'll follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, the time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.